Feinstein made history as the first woman to be elected as mayor of San Francisco. She was elected to the Senate in 1992 and was a passionate advocate for progressive matters, including environmental protection, reproductive rights, gun control, but was also known as a pragmatic lawmaker who reached out to Republicans and sought middle ground. I want to bring in Democratic strategist Ed Emerson. Ed, there's so much I want to talk to you about about Senator Feinstein, but reached across the aisle and was a pragmatic lawmaker. To say that about a sitting senator, a sitting member of Congress, it seems so foreign right now, right? I mean, how do you think, how are you going to remember Senator Feinstein?
Well, I think the thing, I'll tell you a quick story, which is the night the assault weapons ban was signed or was passed in the Senate back in D.C., we were doing an event in San Francisco with Bill Clinton. And the president got there first, and because of the roll call and the falderall, Senator Feinstein actually got there about 4-5 hours after we did. And so it was a fun afternoon, killing time with the president of the United States. Senator Feinstein shows up. It's a great event. I mean, the place is packed. We're backstage. We're rolling out, and Senator Feinstein turns to me and says, "Ed, do you have any ties?" it was like she could focus on 100 things at once, and how you had to have a suit and tie. She was tough on staff. She liked to run on time to the minute if possible, and she had a sense of humor. Folks didn't know she was good at the very subtle sort of dig, "Where's your tie?" that sort of thing. But she was tough. I mean, tough circumstances. You look at how she started with the assassination of Mayor Moscone and Supervisor Harvey Milk. I mean, she was there. She stood there. She stepped up and said, "This is what's happened. This is what's going to happen. Here's where we are." And then went on to become elected mayor a couple of times in a tough city. There was actually, a lot of people don't know, a group put together a recall and passed signatures and put it on the ballot. And that was when America said, "Okay, we want Dianne Feinstein. She's a good person. She raised so much money and crushed this effort to recall her." And then basically did these things over and over again on a bipartisan basis. She was great friends with President Biden, and they worked together a lot. But throughout the Senate, across the aisle, all these different folks liked working with Feinstein because she was business. What can we get done? What can we do to make a difference in people's lives and in the state of California? And she would ring it up. Lots of stuff, Lake Tahoe, other places, other things.
She was big into the environment and the ag industry, too. I don't think that people even think of her in how she was such a champion for the ag industry and how important that is here in the state.
Absolutely huge. And she knew these folks. You know, she took the time to get out to the Central Valley. She took the time to get to San Bernardino and the Inland Empire there, and took her time to talk to people. She was someone else who she loved to run on schedule, but if there was someone interesting to talk to that she hadn't met before, you had to literally get the hook and pull her out of events.
I had a conversation with her former partner in the Senate, Senator Barbara Boxer, a few months ago when she announced that she was going to be retiring. And Senator Boxer said she was mad at me when I called her up and said, "Dianne, I'm done." And she's like, "No, you still have more time. We still have more work to do." She says she loved being in the Senate. She loved the service, and she was voting yesterday. And I know that you and I have had conversations over the past 8 months or so, probably even longer, when progressive members of the Democratic Party have come out and said, "Look, it's time for you to go. You're a distraction. You're past your prime." And you were very, very adamant about she needs to go on her own terms. She's done a great service to this country. And if, you know, she was the job, essentially. I think that's the best way to describe her.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, there, you know, in politics, there's always a price for getting out front on something, and kicking Dianne Feinstein when she is not well and at her Senate desk doing her job. I mean, I want people to know and shout it from the rooftop. She voted yesterday. She was able to get up and get to the Senate and cast a vote. She was always there for that. And I don't even want to call them progressives, Nikki. I don't know what kind of people kick somebody when they're down, when they're having a hard time. But I'll take, even at 90%, at 90 years of age, I'll take Dianne Feinstein over that crew of folks over there who were not getting the job done. And some of the folks in the House and some of the folks in the Senate need to take a lesson here that hard work pays off. She totally did that. And she did it with aplomb and with style. Another quick story. We were on her plane. It's actually Dick Blum's plane, very nice plane. And I get on and I'm, working crazy. It's one of the governor's races, or maybe Feinstein was up. It might have been, anyway, we're on her plane. And she says, what would you like? And I said, I love a Diet Coke. And I said, but I'll get it. Where is it? So Senator Feinstein goes and gets me a Diet Coke, brings it to me. And she says, what's your diet? And I said, Diet Coke and cigarettes. And she said, I'm going to get you a list of stuff that you can eat. And she sent it to me. She's like, here's the diet. You should probably exercise more and stop smoking, you moron. She was good. She was good natured, and it was fun to be around her. There's no question.
I know we could spend the next hour talking about her accomplishments
sure.
too. I mentioned this a couple of times on the show. I mean, she got her start in service because Pat Brown appointed her to the Women's Parole Board, and the cable car in San Francisco, the iconic cable car. She saved that as well, and she faced such criticism. Her political career was not easy. It wasn't a charmed political career. She wasn't anointed to any sort of position. She had to work really, really hard. But I only have a couple minutes left. I want to ask you about what comes next, because Governor Newsom has a pretty tall order right now. He's got a lot of eyes on him.
Yeah,
he made this commitment to appoint a black woman. He doesn't want to tip the scales because we have an election going on right now, and we have a black woman in Barbara Lee running. He's got to be under some pressure, right?
I think there's to me, I would throw a name out, Sidney Kim Lager-Dove, who's a new congressman, relatively new down in Southern California. If he appointed somebody new and vital, if he forgot about this darn caretaker thing, which may or may not be the case, he could get somebody in there. They announce their candidacy the day that he appoints them, and then it's on. That's a real primary. Let's get somebody in there who's willing to run for the seat, raise the money, and take on Adam Schiff and Katie Porter and whoever else is out there in that race. Let's have a primary. It's why we have primaries. Barbara Lee's terrific. I've worked with Barbara Lee for years, and she's a good person and she works hard. Let's have a primary. Let's get everybody in there and raise some money. I think the governor has sort of worked himself into a tighter spot than he's used to, and I think it's going to be interesting to see what he does. I will tell you, my sense is it's going to be the next 2 or 3 days.
You think so?
He's going to hit it hard. It may be Monday morning to not do it on the weekend, but I think he's been thinking about this.
For months. He said he did not want to have to make this decision. But I mean, if you were advising him, you worked for President Clinton, Vice President Gore, Jerry Brown, and the list goes on. I mean, did he box himself into the corner saying, yes, I will appoint a black woman?
I think so. Yeah. I think it's important. It's part of his sensibilities, but you don't want to limit your options when you're putting something like this together. And something as important as a Senate seat, I think he'll do it. I think it could be a huge surprise who he appoints. And, there's some absolutely fabulous people out there, none of whom want to be a caretaker. None. Zero. If you were appointed to the United States Senate, you don't want anything more.
You don't want to have a time limit. You don't want an expiration date.
Hello.
People like being
learning the staff names is going to take 2 months.
Right. People like to be in those jobs. All right, Ed Emerson, we appreciate you giving us some time.